Hey there, fellow bookworms, and welcome back to RWG Publishing. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Amazon ads.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, but specifically, how to make those ads really work for your books.
Yeah, it's one of those
And
things
it can be a little...
that can feel really overwhelming, right? All the
Mhm.
algorithms and bidding and targeting.
It's like, where do you even start?
Exactly.
So that is why we are turning to the wisdom of author Dale L. Roberts.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He's got a fantastic YouTube video where he just breaks down Amazon advertising step by step.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's like your roadmap to navigating this whole Amazon jungle.
What I like about his approach is he doesn't just throw a bunch of jargon at you.
Oh, yeah.
He actually explains things in a way that makes sense.
Right,
Even if
yeah.
you're brand new to this whole advertising thing.
Right. He's been in the trenches, so he knows what works and what doesn't.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to kind of distill his insights and give you the tools you need to boost those book sales
Yes.
without getting lost in all the technical weeds.
Without it.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. So where do we even begin? How do we access these mystical Amazon ads?
Okay, so there are two main paths you can take.
Yeah.
If you're publishing directly through Amazon with KDP,
Right.
you can actually access ads right from your KDP dashboard.
Okay,
It's all conveniently located in one place.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about authors who use other services like Ingram Spark?
So Roberts has them covered too.
Okay.
They'll want to head over to Amazon Author Central.
Right.
And here's a bonus tip.
Okay.
Author Central actually lets you manage ads for up to 3 different pen names
Whoa.
with one free account.
That's a game changer.
Isn't that cool?
Especially for authors with pseudonyms.
Yes.
You don't have to juggle multiple accounts and billing statements.
Exactly. That's awesome.
So, okay,
Okay.
you found your way into the Amazon ad system.
Yes.
What's the first thing you need to do? Well, before you can start spending money on ads, you need to tell Amazon where to send the bill.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
You got it.
Gotta pay the piper.
Roberts points out that getting your billing information squared away is step 1.
Makes sense?
No surprise.
Okay.
Amazon wants to make sure they get paid.
Of course, they are running a business after all.
Right.
But I did hear there's something a little different about how Amazon handles billing for ads.
Hey, yes, you heard it right.
Okay.
They use a tiered billing system initially.
Oh, just...
So you'll start off with a tiny charge, practically pennies.
Oh, okay.
And as you use the platform more, that amount gradually increases.
All right.
And it's only after you've hit certain spending thresholds that it switches to a standard monthly billing cycle.
Oh, that is a bit unusual.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that?
So from what Roberts explains, it seems like a way for Amazon to verify your payment method
Okay.
and ensure that everything is running smoothly. It helps prevent, those annoying campaign freezes that can happen if a charge gets declined or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Better to have those safeguards in place
Absolutely.
early on than to risk disrupting a campaign later down the road.
Totally. So you're all set up.
Right.
Billing is sorted.
Yes.
Now, what kind of ad campaign should you actually choose?
Right, because there are a lot of options in there.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
Roberts, along with the folks at Amazon themselves, recommend starting with sponsored product ads.
Okay.
It's the most straightforward option,
All right.
especially for those new to advertising.
So sponsored product ads,
Yeah.
those are the ones that pop up when you're browsing Amazon, right?
Exactly.
Like if I'm looking at a mystery novel, I might see an ad for another similar book.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And within sponsored products, there are 2 main targeting options,
Okay.
automated and manual.
All right.
And for your very first campaign, Roberts suggests keeping things simple
Okay.
and going with automated targeting.
So you're letting Amazon do the heavy lifting at the beginning?
Precisely.
Okay.
You give Amazon some basic information about your book,
All right.
set your budget, and let their algorithms do their thing.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, it takes some of the pressure off.
It feels a lot less intimidating than diving straight into manual targeting.
Right. And as you get more comfortable with Amazon ads and start running multiple campaigns,
Yes.
things can get a little chaotic if you don't have a good system for staying organized.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I can imagine it becoming a jumbled mess of campaigns and keywords pretty quickly.
Yes.
What's the secret to keeping things tidy?
So Roberts is a big advocate for clear naming conventions for your ad groups.
Oh.
Like he uses a format like Ads Auto 1124 V1,
Okay.
which tells him at a glance what the ad group is for, the date it was created, and the version.
That's so smart.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like labeling your files,
It is.
clearly, so you can actually find what you're looking for later on.
I love that.
Okay, so speaking of organization, let's talk ad format.
Okay.
When you're setting up your campaign, You'll have to choose between custom text
All right.
and standard.
Okay, break that down for me. What's
Okay.
the difference?
So custom text lets you add some extra copy to your ad,
Okay,
like a catchy tagline or a call to action.
gotcha.
Standard, on the other hand, sticks to the basic book information.
All right.
So like the title, author, cover image.
Okay, so with custom text, you have a little bit more control
Yes,
over the messaging.
exactly.
You can try to entice readers with some creative wording.
Exactly. But here's the thing.
Okay.
Roberts actually prefers sticking with the standard format.
Oh, really?
He says he hasn't seen a significant difference in conversion rates
Wow.
between the two.
Okay.
And standard helps avoid any potential copyright issues that could arise with using extra copy.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right.
Sometimes simplicity is best,
Yeah, especially when you're first starting out.
especially when you're starting out. Yeah.
Now let's dive into one of the most important aspects of any Amazon ad campaign,
Ooh.
targeting.
Okay.
We touched on it a little bit earlier.
Yes.
But let's explore that automatic versus manual debate a bit further.
What are the key trade-offs to consider when choosing between those two?
Okay, so with automatic targeting, you're essentially handing the reins over to Amazon.
Okay.
It's quicker to set up,
Right.
but it can also burn through your budget faster
Right.
because you're not being as selective with who sees your ads.
So it's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah,
You might reach a wider audience, but you might also be paying for clicks that don't lead to sales.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Manual targeting, on the other hand, gives you a lot more control.
Okay.
You get to choose exactly who sees your ads based on specific keywords, genres, and even competitor titles.
So you're saying that if I know my target audience really well,
Yes,
manual targeting might be the way to go because I can really zero in on those readers.
you got it.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Roberts actually recommends a combined approach.
Oh, interesting.
He suggests starting with automatic targeting to gather data
Okay.
and identify those high-performing keywords.
Right.
Then once you've got some valuable intel, you can use those keywords to create a more refined manual campaign.
Ah, I see. So you're using automatic targeting almost as like a research phase.
Exactly.
Up
To
on-
figure out, what's resonating with readers.
Yeah, and then you take that knowledge and apply it to a more targeted strategy.
Exactly.
I like that.
And speaking of targeting,
Yes.
let's talk about a feature that can save you a lot of money.
Ooh.
Negative keyword targeting.
All right, I've heard of that,
Have you?
but I'm not entirely sure how it works.
Okay, so it's actually pretty simple.
Okay.
And it's all about preventing your ads from showing up for irrelevant searches.
Okay.
Think of it as a way to avoid wasting money
Gotcha.
on clicks from people who are never going to buy your book.
Okay, that makes sense.
So for example,
Yeah.
let's say you've written a gritty crime thriller.
Okay.
For adults,
Right?
you wouldn't want your ad popping up when someone searches for children's books
Yeah, definitely not.
or romance novels.
Right. Right. Those readers are clearly not your target audience.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
So with negative keyword targeting, you can tell Amazon to exclude those irrelevant terms.
Oh.
And there are
Okay.
two main types: negative exact match
Okay.
and negative phrase match.
I'm intrigued. Break those down for me.
Okay, so negative exact match blocks your ad from showing up for the exact keyword you enter.
Okay.
So if you add free as a negative exact match,
Okay.
your ad won't be displayed when someone searches for free crime novels.
Oh, that's helpful.
Right.
It's all about being as specific as possible
Yes.
to avoid those wasted clicks.
Exactly. And then there's negative phrase match, which is a bit broader.
Okay.
It blocks your ad from appearing for any search phrase that contains your chosen keyword.
Gotcha.
It's using the same example.
Yeah.
Your ad wouldn't show up for searches like free crime novels for Kindle or best free crime thrillers.
So it's like casting a wider net to
Yeah.
catch all those variations on a
Yeah.
particular phrase.
Exactly. And Roberts even uses negative keyword targeting to avoid targeting readers who are already searching for him by name.
Oh, that's smart.
Isn't that clever?
Yeah.
So if someone already knows you and is specifically looking for your books,
Right.
you don't necessarily need to spend money on ads to reach them.
You're focusing your budget on reaching new readers,
Exactly.
not preaching to the choir.
Right.
I like that.
Now, before we get into bidding strategies and campaign optimization,
Okay.
let's take a quick pause and remind our listeners
Yes.
that they can find a link to Dale L. Roberts' book,
Ooh.
Advertising for Books, in the show notes.
Yes.
It's an excellent resource for anyone who wants to dive even deeper into these strategies.
Absolutely. We'll be back after this quick word from our sponsor with more tips and tricks
Yes.
to help you master the art of Amazon ads.
Stay tuned.
All right, I'm ready to get back into it.
Yeah, let's dive back in.
All those nitty-gritty details.
Okay.
Where were we? Yes, bidding strategies.
Yeah.
This is where things can get really interesting.
Right.
And maybe a little bit nerve-wracking, right?
For sure.
It's one of those things.
The bidding is one of those things that can make or break your campaign.
Totally. It's all about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
It's like spending enough to get your ads seen,
Right.
but not so much that you're eating into all your profits.
Exactly.
So how do you even approach it?
Right.
Like, where do you start with bidding?
So when you set up your campaign,
Okay.
Amazon will actually suggest a starting bid
Okay.
based on various factors like genre, keywords, competitor bids.
Right.
But the good news is you have the flexibility to adjust those bids,
Okay.
both upward and downward.
So you're not locked into Amazon's suggestions.
No, you're not.
You have some wiggle room
You do.
to experiment.
Yes,
And find what works best for your book.
exactly. And it gets even more granular than that.
Oh, really?
You can actually set different bids for different targeting groups.
Oh, okay. Hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Targeting groups. Remind me what those are all about.
All right, so imagine you've written a historical fiction novel set in ancient Rome.
Okay, I'm imagining.
Okay. So if you're using close match targeting,
Okay.
your ads will show up for searches that are very closely related to your book. Think keywords like historical fiction, ancient Rome, or novels about Roman gladiators.
So you're really honing in on those readers who are specifically
Yes.
looking for books like yours.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Now, loose match is casting a wider net.
Okay.
Your ad might appear for broader searches like historical fiction
All right.
or even just adventure novels.
So with Loose Match, you're kind of taking a chance on reaching readers
Yeah.
who might not have had your specific book in mind,
Right.
but who might still be interested based on
Exactly.
their general preferences.
Exactly. And remember, those suggested bids for close match and loose match can be drastically different.
Oh, wow.
It all comes down to how much competition there is for those keywords.
That makes sense.
Right.
The more competitive a keyword,
Okay.
the higher the bid you'll probably need to make to stand out.
Exactly.
Okay. What about those other targeting groups, substitutes and complements?
Okay, so with substitutes, your ads will actually be displayed on the product pages
Interesting.
of books that are similar to yours.
Oh, cool.
So if someone's checking out a historical fiction novel about Cleopatra,
Okay.
your book about Roman gladiators might pop up as a suggestion.
Oh, interesting. So it's like saying, hey, if you like that book, you might also enjoy this one.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And then there are complements,
All right.
which target books that pair well with yours.
Gotcha.
So for your Roman gladiator novel, it could be a nonfiction book about ancient Rome
Okay.
or a historical atlas of the Roman Empire.
Oh, so you're essentially suggesting
Yeah.
additional reading material that would enhance their enjoyment of your book.
Now, Roberts points out that choosing the right bidding strategy
Okay.
is just as important as setting the right bid amount.
You're right.
And thankfully, Amazon gives you a few different options to play around with.
What are those different bidding strategies, and how do you know which one is right for you?
Okay, so one option is dynamic bids up and down.
Okay.
This means Amazon will automatically adjust your bids
Okay.
based on how likely they think your ad is to convert to a sale.
Right.
So they can raise your bid if they think it's a good chance, or lower it if they think it's less likely.
So you're giving Amazon a little bit of control
You are.
over your bidding.
Yes.
That could be good or bad,
Yeah,
depending on how well their algorithms understand your book
exactly.
and your target audience.
So if you have a larger budget and you're willing to let Amazon do its thing,
Right.
this strategy can work well.
Okay.
But if you prefer to have a bit more control over your spending,
Yes.
there's another option. Dynamic bids down.
Okay. What's the difference there?
So as the name suggests,
Okay.
with dynamic bids down, only Amazon can only lower your bids.
Okay.
They can't increase them.
Right.
This helps prevent you from overspending on clicks that are unlikely to lead to sales.
That sounds like a safer bet,
It is.
especially for authors who are working with a limited budget.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And for those who want complete control over their bidding,
Yes.
there's always the option of fixed bids.
All right.
With this strategy, you set the bid amount,
Okay.
and it stays that way no matter what.
Yeah.
Amazon doesn't touch it.
So you're calling the shots.
Yes.
But that also means you need to be more on top of things.
Yeah, you need to be diligent.
Monitoring your campaigns and adjusting those bids.
Right, needed.
Gotcha.
Now, Roberts tends to recommend either dynamic bids down only or fixed bids
Okay.
for most authors, especially those who are new to Amazon ads.
So he leans towards giving authors more control
Yeah,
over their spending, rather than handing over the reins to Amazon's algorithms.
exactly. And speaking of control, let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in your Amazon ads arsenal,
Okay, I'm ready.
adjusting bids by placement.
Ooh, I like it.
Have you ever noticed how some ads appear at the very top of the search results page,
Yes,
while others are further down?
absolutely. It's like prime real estate on the Amazon search page.
It is.
Everyone wants to be at the top where they're most likely to be seen.
Exactly. And with this feature, you can actually increase your bids for specific placements.
Oh, cool.
So you have the option to bump up your bid for top of search, first page,
Okay.
rest of search and product pages.
So if I'm really determined to snag that top spot on the first page,
Yes.
I can increase my bid
You can.
to try and outbid the competition.
Exactly. Robert suggests a small increase for top of search
Okay.
because he found it can lead to higher conversions.
That makes sense.
The logic being that the higher you are on that first page, the more visible you are.
People tend to scan those first few results before diving deeper into a search page.
Exactly.
Yeah, they might not even scroll down far enough to see those ads
Right.
that are further down the list.
And while we're on the topic of visibility and getting noticed,
Yes.
let's talk about the importance of monitoring and refining your campaigns.
This is where the real work begins, right?
It is.
It's not enough to just set up your campaigns and hope for the best.
No.
You gotta be in there,
You have to be actively involved.
tracking their performance and making adjustments.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Robert suggests checking on your campaigns
Okay.
at least once a day when you first launch them, and then at least once a week once they're up and running.
Oh, wow. So you really have to
You have to stay on top of it.
stay on top of it.
It's not just about looking at the numbers.
Right.
It's about understanding.
What those numbers are telling you.
Exactly.
The dreaded metrics.
I know, right?
Impressions, clicks, CPC, ACOS.
Yeah.
It can all feel a bit overwhelming. So where do you even begin to make sense of it all?
So don't worry. It's not as complicated as it seems. Just focus on the key players.
All right.
Impressions tell you how many times your ad has been displayed
Okay.
to potential readers.
Gotcha.
Clicks, as you can guess, indicate how many times people have clicked on your ad.
All right.
CPC stands for cost per click.
Okay.
It's simply how much you're paying for each of those clicks.
All right.
And finally, AKS stands for advertising cost of sales.
Okay.
It's the percentage of your sales that you're spending on advertising.
Okay, so you're looking at how often your ad is being seen,
Yes.
how often people are clicking on it,
Yes.
how much those clicks are costing you,
Yes.
and how those costs compare to your actual sales.
You got it.
Okay.
Now, one of the most valuable tools for analyzing your campaign performance
Okay.
is the search terms report.
Ooh.
This little gem shows you exactly what people are searching for when your ad is shown,
Oh, wow.
even if they don't click on it.
Wait a minute. So even if someone doesn't click on my ad,
Yes.
I can still see what they were searching for.
Exactly. It's like having a window into the minds of your potential readers.
That's incredible.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
So you can use this information to refine your targeting, add new keywords to your campaigns, or even create entirely new campaigns based on those high-performing search terms.
That's so valuable. You can see what's resonating with readers,
Yeah.
even if they don't ultimately click on the ad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of valuable information, let's talk about ACOS for a moment.
Okay.
It's not just about how many sales you're making.
Right.
It's about understanding your profitability.
Right. If you're spending more on ads than you're earning in royalties,
Yes.
something needs to change.
Something needs to change.
So how do you use ACOS to gauge your profitability?
So Roberts recommends a simple calculation.
Okay.
Subtract your ACOS from your royalty percentage.
Okay.
So let's say your HEOS is 25% and your ebook royalty is 70%.
Okay.
That means your true profit margin is 45%.
Okay.
So for every dollar in sales, you're keeping 45 cents.
That's a much clearer way to look at it.
Right.
It's not just about those raw sales numbers.
It's not.
It's about understanding how much you're actually pocketing.
Exactly. And remember, AKS can fluctuate
Right.
depending on various factors like genre, competition, even the time of year.
Makes sense.
So it's something you need to monitor closely
Yeah.
and adjust your bidding strategies accordingly.
So let's say you've been running your automated campaign for a while now.
Okay.
You've gathered some data. You've identified some high-performing keywords.
Yes.
What's the next step?
It's time to level up to a manual targeting campaign.
Ooh, exciting.
You've done your research,
Yeah,
you know it's working,
right.
and now you can really fine-tune your targeting to reach those ideal readers.
So you're taking all of those insights you gained from that automatic campaign
Yes.
and using it to create a more strategic and focused campaign.
Exactly. And with a manual campaign,
Okay.
you have much greater control over your ad spend.
Gotcha.
You can bid on specific keywords that you know are relevant
Right?
to your book and your target audience.
Makes sense.
You can even target specific competitor titles,
Oh, cool.
which can be a really effective way to reach readers who are already interested in the books like yours.
So you're not just casting a wide net and hoping for the best.
Right.
You're being very laser focused
You are.
and strategic about who sees your ads.
Yes, and that's where you start to see.
That's where you really start to see those ACS numbers improve.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, even with the best strategies in place,
Yes.
you might run into some common issues along the way.
Okay, like what?
What happens if you're seeing no impressions, no clicks,
Oh.
or even worse, no sales?
Ugh, the dreaded crickets.
I know.
Those are every author's worst nightmare.
Yeah, they are.
What are Robert's tips for troubleshooting those scenarios?
Okay, so if you're not seeing any impressions at all,
Right.
it means your ads aren't even being shown
Right.
to potential readers.
Make-
The first thing to check is your bid.
Okay.
It might be too low to compete in the auction.
So you're being outbid by other authors who
Yeah.
are willing to pay more for those keywords.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
So in that case, a simple bid increase might be all you need
Gotcha.
to start getting some eyeballs on your ads.
Okay.
But Roberts cautions, it's also crucial to reevaluate the relevance of your targeting.
Right.
Are you bidding on keywords
Yeah.
that actually align with your book and your target audience?
That's a really good point.
Right.
You could be bidding high, but if it's for the wrong keywords,
Yes.
it's wasted money.
It's a waste.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, let's say you are getting impressions,
Okay.
meaning people are seeing your ads,
Right.
but they're not clicking on them.
Okay.
This is where Roberts suggests taking a long, hard look at your book cover.
Ah, yes. The
Yeah.
cover.
Yes.
Your first impression.
Yeah.
Your chance to grab a reader's attention.
It is, if it's not visually appealing or if it doesn't give readers a clear idea of what your book is about.
Right.
It's not going to do its job.
It's like a storefront.
It is.
You know, if it's not inviting, people aren't even going to bother stepping inside.
Exactly.
Eh.
So what do you do if you suspect your cover might be the culprit?
Right.
Well, Roberts recommends considering a professional book cover redesign service.
Okay.
Investing in a high-quality cover
Yeah.
can make a huge difference
That makes sense.
in attracting clicks and converting those clicks into sales.
It's worth spending a little extra
Yeah.
to make sure your book is presented in the best possible light.
Okay. And finally,
Yes.
let's address the most disheartening scenario of all.
Oh, no.
Getting clicks,
Okay.
but no sales.
Oh, that's got to be frustrating.
It is. You're getting people to your product page,
Right.
but they're not buying.
What's going wrong at that crucial point in the buyer's journey?
So Robert says that in these cases, the culprit often lies in your book description
Okay.
or your reviews.
Okay.
Remember, the cover gets them to the product page,
Right.
but the book description
Yeah.
is what convinces them to buy.
It's like the sales pitch. You've got their attention. Now you need to close the deal.
Yes, your book description needs to hook them, intrigue them, and make them eager to dive into your story.
Right.
It needs to highlight the unique selling points of your book.
Yeah. What makes it stand out from the competition?
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of reviews.
Right. People want to see that other people have enjoyed your book.
Yes.
They're social proof
Yeah.
that your book is worth their investment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in a world where we're bombarded with choices.
Right.
Reviews can be incredibly influential.
Yeah. They help readers cut through the noise
Yes.
and make informed decisions.
Exactly. So the cover gets them to the product page,
Yes.
the description entices them,
Right.
and the reviews seal the deal.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
I love that teamwork makes the dream work.
So Roberts actually recommends getting feedback on your book description
Okay.
from other authors or beta readers.
Oh, that's a great tip.
A fresh perspective can help you spot weaknesses.
Absolutely. Sometimes we get too
too.
close to our own work and we need that outside input to really see it clearly.
Exactly. And he also has some excellent advice
Okay.
on crafting compelling book descriptions and gathering those all-important reviews
Yes.
in his book, Advertising for Books,
Of course.
which we mentioned earlier. You can find a link to in the show notes.
Absolutely. It's a treasure trove of information
It is.
for authors who want to master the art of Amazon ads.
It is. Now, before we move on to the final stretch,
All right.
let's take a moment to highlight a crucial point that Roberts emphasizes.
Okay.
Patience
Yes.
and networking.
I like it.
These are two things that can make a world of difference.
Oh, yeah.
Not just with Amazon ads, but with your author journey as a whole.
Absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in the hype
Yes, it is.
and expect overnight success,
It is.
especially when it comes to advertising.
Yes.
But Roberts points out
Right.
it takes time.
Yes.
It takes consistent effort. Yes.
And it takes a willingness to learn
Yeah.
and adapt to see those results.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where the networking comes in.
Yeah.
Connecting with other authors,
Yeah.
learning from their experiences,
Yeah.
sharing insights.
Yes.
It can make this whole process a lot less daunting.
A lot less daunting.
Yeah, and Roberts actually has his own Discord server
He does.
where authors can connect and support each other.
Yeah. It's fantastic having that community to lean on,
Yes,
to share your struggles with and celebrate your wins with.
absolutely.
Can make all the difference. And remember, you can always reach out to us
Yes,
here at RWG Publishing too.
of course.
We're always happy to help
Always happy to help.
in any way we can.
Speaking of helpful resources,
Yes.
let's not forget about Dale L. Roberts' book,
Yes.
Advertising for Books.
Yes.
You can find a link to it in our show notes.
You can.
It's packed with even more in-depth advice on Amazon ads,
Yes.
and we highly recommend checking it out. Yes, we do.
Okay, so we've talked about monitoring your campaigns
Yeah.
and identifying those common red flags.
Right?
No impressions, no clicks,
Yeah.
no sales.
Right.
But what do you actually do about those issues?
Right. What do you do?
How do you fix them?
Yeah.
So Roberts actually walks through some really helpful troubleshooting scenarios in his YouTube video.
Okay.
And he starts with the problem of no impressions.
Okay.
If your ads aren't even showing up, the first thing he recommends is checking your bid.
Okay.
It might simply be too low to compete in the auction.
So you're being outbid.
You are, yeah.
Like you're trying to get a table at a super popular restaurant, but someone else is offering the host a bigger tip.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And just like in that scenario, sometimes a little bump in your bid is all it takes to get noticed.
Right.
But Roberts also cautions that it's not always about the money.
Right.
You could be bidding high, but if your targeting is off,
Yeah.
you're still not going to see results.
You could be shouting into the void
I guess-
if you're not targeting the right readers.
Right. So he really emphasizes the importance of making sure your keywords align with your book and your target audience.
Okay. So step 1, check your bid.
Yes.
Step 2,
Yeah.
make sure you're bidding on the right keywords.
Right.
What if you're getting impressions, meaning people are seeing your ads,
Okay.
but they're just not clicking?
That's where Roberts says you need to take a good hard look at your book cover.
Ah, the cover.
Yeah, remember that
Yeah.
cover is your first impression.
Yes, it is.
It's what makes someone stop scrolling and say, hey, what's that?
Right. If it's not visually appealing or if it doesn't accurately represent your book's genre and tone,
Right.
it's not going to entice readers to click.
Imagine walking past a bookstore
Okay.
and seeing a cover that's blurry,
Okay.
uses a font that's hard to read, or just looks, well, amateurish.
Right.
Would you be inclined to pick up that book?
Probably not.
And the same principle applies to online browsing. A professionally designed cover can make all the difference in attracting those clicks.
So it's an investment worth considering,
Absolutely.
especially if you're serious about using Amazon ads to boost your book sales.
For sure.
Okay, so we've tackled no impressions and no clicks.
All right.
What about the scenario where you are getting clicks,
Okay.
but those clicks aren't converting into sales?
Oh, no.
You're getting people to your product page, but they're just not hitting that buy button.
Yeah, that's going to be so frustrating.
It is. You're doing the hard work of getting them to the page,
You got them there.
but you're not sealing the deal.
Right. What's the disconnect?
So Robert says that in these cases, the culprit often lies in your book description
Okay.
or your reviews.
Vary the reviews. Yeah.
Remember, the cover gets them TO, the product page,
Yes?
but it's the book description that convinces them to be UI.
Yes. It's like the sales pitch.
It is.
You've got their attention. Now you need to persuade them that this book is worth their time and money.
Exactly. Your book description needs to hook them, intrigue them,
Ah.
and make them eager to dive into your story.
It does.
Should highlight the unique selling points of your book, what makes it stand out from the competition.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of reviews.
Yes, reviews are so important.
Potential readers want to see that other people have enjoyed your book.
They do.
They provide that social proof that your book is worth their investment.
Exactly. Especially in a world where we are just bombarded with choices.
We are.
Reviews can be incredibly influential.
They help readers cut through the noise and make informed decisions.
Exactly.
I love that.
So Roberts has some really insightful advice on writing compelling book descriptions, and garnering those all-important reviews.
Okay.
And he goes into even more detail in his book, Advertising for Books.
Of course, which, as we mentioned, you can find a link to in the show notes.
Yes, you can.
We highly recommend checking it out if you want to master the art of the book description.
Absolutely.
And leverage the power of social proof.
One final takeaway from Roberts that really resonated with me.
Okay, what's that?
Don't just launch your ads and forget about them.
Right.
You have to be actively involved in monitoring their performance, analyzing the data, and making adjustments as needed.
It's a dynamic process.
It is.
The world of Amazon ads is constantly evolving.
Yes, it is.
So you need to stay engaged and willing to adapt.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
Amazon ads can seem daunting at first.
They can.
But Roberts breaks down the process in a way that makes it feel approachable.
He does.
Even for beginners.
Yeah.
He demystifies the jargon, shares practical tips, and really encourages authors to experiment and find what works best for their unique books.
It's fantastic advice.
I love his emphasis on using data to drive your decisions.
Yes.
It's not just about guessing or throwing money at the problem. It's about tracking your results, understanding what's working, and making informed choices to optimize your campaigns.
And he reminds us that we're not in this alone. There are resources available, communities to connect with, fellow authors who are all navigating this world together.
That sense of community is so important.
It is. It can make all the difference in feeling supported and encouraged on your author journey.
Absolutely.
So as you venture into the world of Amazon ads, remember to start small.
Yes.
Experiment. Track your results.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to ask for help along the way.
Ask for help, yes.
And if you're looking for a comprehensive guide to Amazon ads, be sure to check out Dale L. Roberts' book, Advertising for Books.
Yes.
You can find a link to it in our show notes.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Amazon ads.
Yes, thank you so much for listening to the Deep Dive Podcast.